Hey guys, and welcome to Overland NZ. It's a very exciting day in the Wiley/Overland household.
Very exciting.
We're heading into the city now to pick up, at long last, our new truck. It's been almost 9 months since we ordered it, and yeah, we're pretty stoked. Oh, there we go. How cool is that? 9 months of waiting, and it's finally here and ready to be picked up. Just gotta sign some papers and things. Massive shout out to Gray for everything. It's been over a year since we met him. Yeah. And yeah, super excited. Get out of here and go and enjoy the weekend. Makes sense. Let's roll. So yeah, a couple of days later now, picked it up on Friday night. It's now Tuesday afternoon. We've had it for the weekend, put a couple hundred Ks on it, and I mean, it's great. I'm so pleased with it. So now it's, a reasonably big change from the Hilux, despite being pretty much a Hilux underneath. And I know there's going to be a couple of questions about like why we bought it, because people seem to like those stories, and I guess what we're going to do with it. So yeah, just as a real quick rundown though, it is a 2022 Toyota Fortuner with the upgraded 150 kilowatt 500 Newton meter motor. It's the facelift version, and it's the MY 2022 model, so it's got a whole bunch of extra little bits and pieces on it that I decided was worth waiting for. We probably would have had this 2 months ago maybe if we took the MY 21, but I thought, you know what, for the sake of 2 months I might as well get all the extra little tech things that this thing comes with. So yeah, it's a crystal pearl, and the color is really nice. I don't know how well it's going to come across on camera, but it's white with a sparkle to it, and we went with white. Basically I wanted graphite or white. Chloe wanted, I think it was blue or white, and we thought, well, we both want the white one, so let's do it. Fingers crossed it hides the bush rash a little bit better than the Hilux. So yeah, let's have a closer look at it and kind of see what I guess appealed to me. Obviously I wanted a wagon, I wanted independent front suspension, I wanted a diff lock, and I wanted an automatic gearbox, and this thing has all of that. And from a value for money point of view, I don't know, I think they're pretty hard to beat. So we went with the limited, so we get basically everything that is offered on one of these, and I think it's equivalent to an SR5 Cruiser Hilux if I recall correctly. So we get heated leather seats, dual zone climate control, 360 cameras all round. What else is part of this? Cross traffic, blind spot monitoring, like all the things that you'd expect a modern vehicle to have. Real nice in here. It's comfortable, and everything just, it's a Hilux at heart, and it still feels like a Hilux in here. There's a few nice extra little bits, but it's just a nice place to be. It's comfortable enough, and I like that it still feels like a truck. It's quieter, it's far more refined than the old Hilux was, and it rides far better, but it's still got that something there that I really liked about the Hilux. And when we test drove the Fortuner, it jumped out at me then, it's like, it still feels like a four-wheel drive. It doesn't feel like a family SUV. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's it's a Hilux, and it feels like a Hilux, but it feels like a nice Hilux. So obviously, as you guys know, we had a kid a year ago basically, and if you've ever owned a dual cab ute, you'll know the back seats on them are not the biggest areas in the world, and we found this seat here was one of the few that fitted really well into it. The space in the back of this is far better for car seats, and we get more leg room. The front seat can actually be in a comfortable position where both me and Chloe can be in there, and he gets just a bit more room. As I said in our Selling the Hilux video, like, the family does come first, and little dude is going to be coming on adventures with us, so he needs to be comfortable in the back. Like, this has got rear air vents / AC, and just all these kind of little things that make it, I guess, far more comfortable for traveling. I know rear car seat space, let's be honest, not the most exciting reason to buy a car, but it's one of those things that we've had to I guess, deal with and accept that, you know, this is part of our family now and we need space for him going forwards. And coming around the back, of course, I've got a boot. I can put things in here. Like we went out on the weekend and I put the pram in, I put little dude's little walking thing that he has, and you know, it's out of the weather, it's all protected, and I can stand under here. I know it seems silly, and I know that utes are awesome if you need a ute. This for me though is a much more practical space and does far, far more of what I want it to do. The only thing that I don't like about this space is these. The seats, like this is a 7-seater, and the seats fold up to the side. Now, I don't care if they fold up to the side. Everybody in all the reviews for these gets weird about it and is like, oh, they should go onto the floor, but I wish I could buy it as a 5-seater. Like, I have to take these out, I need to store them somewhere, and it's a bit of a pain. I do wish that they came as a 5-seater. You know, I'm never going to take 7 people in this, but I tried putting in our kind of box of things that we take camping, and like, you can't use under here. So they do eat up a lot of space. I don't understand why Toyota don't do a 5-seater version of this, but whatever. It's about a 10-minute job to take them both out. I'll chuck them up on the roof or something in some plastic. If anyone's got any good ideas of how to store seats long term, let me know, because you know, I want to keep them in good condition. But yeah, a boot, and it's got, you guys might not be able to see this, but basically a big depression down here. So I'm thinking drawers, and then down there chuck dual battery and the charging gear, and I don't know, any other little random bits and pieces that I can think to put in there. So the big question, why did we buy the Fortuner over everything else on the market? I know a lot of you guys will be wondering this. I sat down and basically dropped a list of the different vehicles I could think that might fit what we were looking for. You know, I started off with another 90 Series Prado, actually. That was the first one. And I thought, nah, it's, you know, I've had one of them, it was cool, but they're getting old. And like the 80 Series has the same problem. They're great trucks, but they're all 25, 30 years old now, and they take a lot of work to keep them going. Like, I know they are reliable enough for an old truck, but like my old 80 Series, every time we got back from a decent trip and it would need work. The Hilux wouldn't. You just keep driving it and it was great. Like, yeah, and so I kind of wrote off all the old stuff real quick and decided to focus again on what we did when we bought the Hilux. Basically, wanted something less than 5 years old with less than 50,000 Ks on the clock. It works really well on the Hilux, like it never really went wrong, and meant that I trusted it to work. Now, I don't wheel this hard. It's not a tough truck, and this would be a terrible choice if it was. Like, it's a bit pretty and a bit Hiluxy underneath. And then obviously weighing up between all the new stuff. So I ended up with a list of Toyota Fortuner, Toyota Prado, 200 series / 300 series, though that wasn't out at the time, the new Isuzu MU-X, and the Pajero Sport. Obviously, like the Prado and the Land Cruiser are slightly different than the Ute chassis with a wagon body like this, and the Pajero Sport and the MU-X. Yeah, I ruled out the 200 pretty quickly, as I couldn't justify spending that much money on a car that we're going to take off-road. Like, they're cool, but you know, I could buy 2 of these for the price of a second-hand 200 these days. And the Prado, I love the Prado. And we sat in one, and I decided not to take it for a test drive because I knew that, I don't know, I do like them. The only issue I had was that they were 25 grand-ish more than this for the sort of equivalent spec, and like, they are a better car, there is no denying that. But I didn't think it was worth the 25 grand. Like, there's a lot of money for a little bit of extra comfort and refinement and stuff, but it's also a lot of money that I have to spend on the car and not use it to go away. Pajero Sport, I sat in it, I spent time in a Trident. I don't like the motor in them, and I can't stand those tail lights that come down the bumper. That, I don't know, to me, they just don't appeal to me. And the new MU-X, so that was the one that, like, it basically came down to this and the MU-X. And I waited for the MU-X to come out, and I went and test drove it expecting it to be awesome, because, you know, people rave about those things. And I was left a little bit, it's the word, not disappointed, but for an $80,000 car, like 80 grand for an Isuzu, it didn't feel like an $80,000 car. For me personally, it just wasn't the choice. So yeah, we landed on this. You know, obviously this is the uprated motor. We test drove the pre-facelift one, and it was good, but I hated the brown interior. Absolutely hated it. As you guys have seen, it's now all black and it looks fine. and I didn't like the front of it very much. The grille just never quite worked for me, and that weird bumper, like all of that's been sorted. And the new motor is awesome. Like for a 2-ton vehicle, it goes pretty well. Like 500 Newton meters is a lot of torque. It's all accessible real low, and it just pulls hard. Like I'm really impressed with it. From the nose to pretty much the back door there, it is a Hilux. So this is kind of the idea of the old Hilux Surf, where you get, you know, pretty much a Hilux chassis and put a different body on it. That's what Toyota have done with this thing. And yeah, so you put, like, it runs Hilux, everything in the front up to there, and then Toyota have lopped, I think it's about 400 mil off the chassis, pulled the rear axle forwards, and put coil springs in there. So it rides, I think, really, really well. Like, I know the new Hiluxes ride better than my one used to, but I think this rides better again, having been in one of the new Hiluxes. In terms of the design, like, you know, I know it's a very subjective thing. I think these are very nice looking cars. Like, they are a bit pretty, I guess, for lack of a better word. Especially in like the sparkly white, but no harm in that, right? The only thing I don't like, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because we had 9 months waiting for it to get here. This line here, this, where the door kicks up, like I don't know what the point of it is, and I wish that they just made it a nice line that followed right the way through. Like, they're really proud of it. There's a picture of it on the back of the key even. It's fine, like it doesn't matter, and I've got some branding that I'm working on that kind of uses that to its advantage, but it is just a very strange choice. So what are we going to be doing to our Fortuner? Well, I kind of like it stock, I've got to be completely honest, but obviously that's not going to work for touring New Zealand, and we need, you know, some stuff on it to kind of, I guess, equip it for what we want to use it for. The first thing that's going are these wheels and tires. I originally hated these wheels. They've grown on me a little bit now that I've lived with it for a couple of days, but they're going. They're 18 inch, they're way too big, and these tires are highway tires, so I would not expect them to do that well off-road. The other thing we're looking at is suspension. I don't necessarily need a lift, but I need something that's going to cope better with long, bumpy gravel roads and off-road use and stuff like that. I'm sure this is fine for around town and light off-road, but you know, you load them up, and even just with a few things in the back, like you notice that it does sort of sit down just a little bit, like the rear springs are pretty light. So yeah, that's going to be an experimentation process basically to figure out what we need in this to get it to ride well when it's ready for a trip and just around town. Like, part of my life going forward is looking after little dude 3 days a week, and this is going to be the car that I use for that. So I need it to ride good most of the time. Up on the roof, I have a rhino-rack Pioneer system at home in the garage, ready to go onto it. It should look pretty cool. On the backbone, as I want to get rid of these. I don't like them very much. So yeah, that's a bit of a look at the new Fortuner. I know it's different than the Hilux, and you know, probably appeals to a slightly different person, but our lives going forward, like we've got a kid now, we've got a family, and we need a vehicle that travels well as a family, and this hopefully will work really, really well. I was going to title this kind of build series like the ultimate, you know, something cheesy, the ultimate family overlanding build or something like that, but the reality is it's not. The ultimate thing would be like a big Land Cruiser with a chop and a chassis extension, but I'm not interested in doing that personally. I want to do a practical family build, something that ticks most of the boxes, especially while our kid's little. Like, you know, in 10 years when he's bigger, things probably will be different and we'll need more space, but for now, like, we've got a small dog, small kid, we don't take that much stuff with us. Like, the advantage of traveling in New Zealand is you don't need 2 spare wheels, you don't need hundreds of liters of water and all that sort of stuff. Like, you're never more than an hour to a town, let's be completely honest. So having the biggest vehicle in the world for me wasn't important, so I'm hoping that this works well. Like, I'm keen to get it set up and hit the road, and I want to put this through its paces. I want to see how it goes off-road, I want to see how it works as a family tourer, whether we can realistically fit all our stuff into it or not. But yeah, this is our truck. I think it's cool. They look mint done up. I can't wait to get started. You know, it wasn't an easy decision to sell the Hilux. It wasn't an easy decision to decide what to replace it with. And we've just replaced it with basically a Hilux with a boot, which, I don't know, it makes me happy. I liked the Hilux, I like this, and this should be a good car going forward. Anyway, that's probably enough of me talking. I hope that this has been interesting. Catch you later.